today. Mr. Casey will come up and speak to you. He's a motivational speaker, and that's all I'm going to say because it's his show.
Hoorah! 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 I earned the United States title of United States Marine several years ago. I earned that title not because I had to. I earned that title because I wanted to. I wanted something better for my life. I learned the value through hard work and struggle of becoming a United States Marine. How many leaders are in the room today? I don't know why I don't see everybody's hand up. Everybody's hand should be up. If you don't do nothing but lead yourself, everybody in this room is a leader. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Good to go?
Yes, sir.
Hoorah.
Hoorah.
All right. I'm going to tell you my story. How many freshmen are in the room? I'm going to tell you my story starting from my freshman year of high school. I went out for the football team. Anybody play football? So you know about up, down, right? Everybody know about up, down? Up, down, when you run in place, and the coach blows the whistle, and once the coach blows the whistle, you got to hit the deck. And then jump right back up and run in place again until he blows the whistle. But this particular day, we did so many up-downs, I could no longer feel my leg. I could no longer feel my arm. I could barely lift myself off the ground because I was so tired. In the back of my mind, I was exhausted. All I could think about was the pain. And I said to myself in that moment, that I can only do about 5 more before I quit. In the back of my mind, I was hoping that the coach stopped practice within the next 5 up-downs. But he didn't. Because he wanted to know who was tough enough to take it. And guess who wasn't tough enough to take it? I wasn't. I didn't have it here, and I didn't have it here. I did those 5 more, and then I got up and walked off that field that day. That was over 20 years ago, but I still remember that day like it happened yesterday. I can still remember that day, just like it happened yesterday. I walked off, I quit. I didn't just quit on myself, I quit on my team, and I quit on everybody who believed in me. But after that day, after quitting that one time, quitting became easy every time I did it again. Every time I did it again, to the point where it was so easy to quit that people started knowing me as a quitter. If I didn't like it, I just quit. I just walked away. I was in ROTC like all of y'all. I didn't take it seriously though. I was that person that didn't get that haircut, that didn't wear the uniform properly, didn't care if I shined my shoes. I was that person. That was who I was. But it led me to different things. You may think it's a small thing now, but it led me to other things. It led me to things that I'm not proud of. It led me later on in life to be homeless, sleeping in the back seat of a car. Now in high school, I was popular. I was one of the so-called cool people. I had plenty of friends. But when high school was over and I drifted down that dark path, those people that I thought were my friends were nowhere to be found. I was in that back of that seat, backseat of that car, sleeping in the cold with 2 other friends. We called each other down for each other. All 3 homeless, living and sleeping in the same car, getting up early in the morning so no one else would see us sleeping in that car, getting up hustling, doing what we had to do just to make it through the next day. With that homelessness, that leading to nowhere, that led me to Hinesville, Georgia, where I met up with one of my cousins. And my cousin, she realized that I wasn't doing so well in life. And she sat me down. And she asked me one thing that would change the rest of my life. She said, "George, what are you going to do with your life?" And see, at that time, I didn't have a clue. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a clue. You all right there, Double Dog? All right, you don't need to stand up, do you? All right. I didn't have a clue. But see, when I stood up, I said, "Cuz, you know what? I'm thinking about going to the United States Marine Corps." I talked to one of the recruiters and he talked about he can get me in. And she looked at me again, she said, "No, don't think about it. You need to do it. You need to do it. Just so your life will have a little structure. You need discipline in your life. And that's what it's all about. It's all about discipline. If you want to change anything in your life, you have to have discipline. And it starts right here with you. You have to have that discipline to change your life. No matter what you want to look like, you have the ability. How many people think they can change the world? Again, everybody's hands should go up. Everybody's hands should go up. Everybody has the ability to change the world. Write this down. To change the world, you must first change yourself. To change the world, you must first change yourself. When you start to change yourself, everything around you will start to change also. It's amazing how that happens. When you begin to change, your friends start to change. Your life starts to change. Your attitude begins to change. Everything else around you begins to change, but the change starts with you. So I got to Paris Island. Anybody know what IST is? Initial strength training, right? I got to Paris Island. They gave us an initial strength test. What's all the things that included in initial strength test? Somebody tell me. Yes, sir. Absolutely. How long you have to run the mile and a half? Roughly around there, maybe a little less. I did the crunches. I did the pull-ups, no problem. But I knew in the back of my mind, and once again, I knew that run was going to give me problems. And guess what? When I started that run, I didn't make it into about a mile or half a mile into that run before I totally gave up again. Why? Because quitting was easy to me. At this point, quitting became so easy, it was nothing to do, not even on Paris Island where they make the United States Marine. I quit. I gave up on myself. Again, I gave up on the people who believed in me. People like my cousin. People like my parents. I gave up. And they sent me to what's called PCP, Physical Conditioning Platoon. But when you get to Paris Island, they'll tell you it's called Pork Chop Platoon. Home of the fat bodies, the people who can't hack it. I was one of those people who couldn't hack it. But when I laid down that night in my rack, I said, this is it. I made up in my mind, that night, this is for me. I wanted to be something. I wanted to do something with my life. I wanted to express the fact that I believe that my life has value. And I wanted to become a United States Marine. So much that I was willing to do whatever it took. During runs, PT runs, I would fall back. And 4 or 5 drill instructors would walk up and run up behind me and say, Casey, you're going back to PCP, Casey. You're going back to PCP. But I had to dig down deep inside me. I let those drill instructors know, no, sir, not this recruit. This recruit's going to make it, sir. This recruit is going to make it. Because I made up in my mind that I was going to make it, that nothing was going to stop me. Nothing was going to stop me. The times that we were sitting around doing not much of anything, I would, in the back of my mind, I said, you know what? I need to get in trouble. So I would do something silly just to get in trouble. So I had a drill instructor go out and take me, mountain climbers, leg lifts, push-ups, all the things you were doing today. That made me smile this morning. That made me smile because at one point, I didn't like that. I couldn't take it. But when I changed my mind, again, everything else around me started to change. Those up-downs became nothing. Leg lifts became nothing. The run became nothing. Because in the back of my mind, I was greater than those things. The value of my life was much more than that. I was going to be somebody. I was going to be a United States Marine. Now, there was many times that my drill instructor tried to make me quit. He tried to make me quit. But it didn't work. Because I already made up in my mind nothing he can do to make me quit. I only wanted more of it. If that's what it took, I only wanted more pain. And see, one of the drill instructors, when I got to Paris Island, he kind of helped me out a little bit. He told me something that was going to change the rest of my life, the course of my life from that point on. He said, Casey, I'm going to bust your freaking heart. I'm going to bust your freaking heart. I I didn't mind though. Because nothing he can do to make me quit. Nothing he can do to make me stop. And then he told me something else that would change my life. Write this down. Pain is only weakness leaving the body. Pain is only weakness leaving the body. So when you're doing those leg lifts, when you're doing those push-ups, and you start to feel that pain, understand and know that pain is only weakness leaving the body. Once the pain is all gone, it's all pleasure after that. Once you accept the pain, the pleasure will come. Once you accept the pain, the pleasure will come. But you got to push through the pain. You got to know that on the other side of that pain, it's something good. It's your reward for doing what you had to do to survive, to make it, to succeed, to be great. You see, that's why I'm here today. I believe everybody in this room has greatness in them. Just like me, maybe you're one of those people that's sitting there, you don't understand the greatness that's inside of you. That people have told you all your life that you're not going to amount to nothing, that you're not going to be nothing. Your dad was this or your mom was that. You're not going to be nothing that's just like they were. Somebody might have told you that. But I don't want you to believe them. I want you to believe you got greatness inside you. And all you got to do is recognize that greatness. And when you recognize that greatness and let that greatness start to show, everybody around you can understand and feel that greatness. Now, there might be some people jealous because they don't think they had that greatness in them. But you being great gives them an opportunity to be great. When you're great, everybody around you becomes great. Don't let yourself be the weakest link. See, when we surround ourselves with the people that we surround ourselves, we slowly become just like those people. So if you hang with losers, guess what? Odds are, chances are you're going to be a loser. But if you hang with those that are winners, if you hang with those that are great, your chances are that much better that you are going to become great as well. And say even a chicken or even a turkey can fly if he surrounds himself with eagles for long enough. And everybody knows turkeys don't fly. Right? Everybody knows turkeys don't fly. But if they hang around eagles long enough, they can. Let me tell you a little story about an eagle. There was once an eagle that lost his egg. And what happened with that egg, a hen found that egg and took it back and sat on that egg until that egg hatched. And see, when that egg hatched, an eagle popped out. Eagle popped out. But that eagle was born into a chicken environment. So when that eagle was born in a chicken environment, he began to act like a chicken. He began to have chicken dreams. Everything he did was just like a chicken. But make no mistake about it, he was much more than a chicken. This bird was an eagle. See, his greatest aspiration was to jump up on the fence pole and cock-a-doodle-doo with the rest of the chickens. He wasn't no chicken. He was an eagle. See, one day he was out playing in the yard. And on this particular day, he looked up higher than the fence posts he normally sees. He looked way up in the sky. And what he saw was a big, huge adult eagle flying, flying. And he looked up and he said, wow, I wish I could do that. I wish I could do that. See, that adult eagle, he saw that baby eagle in his dilemma. And he swooped down. And he began to talk to that baby eagle. He began to speak greatness into that baby eagle. He said, boy, you ain't no chicken. You're an eagle. You're an eagle. And see, eagles are born for greatness. Their destiny is greatness. Your destiny is greatness because you have greatness in you. But if you hang around chickens all your life, it's only a matter of time before you become ingrained with that chicken attitude. That chicken, the dream of chickens that can't really do much in life, who really don't know their value, who really don't know their worth. And I want you all to understand today that you all have greatness inside you. You have greatness inside you. And see, as I struggled through all the pain through boot camp, about 13 weeks of hard pain, probably the most pain and suffering I went through in most of my life. But in the end, I got my reward. I got my reward. On February 23rd, 1996, nobody gave it to me. I earned the title of United States Marine. I earned that title of United States Marine. It's not a title that people just hand out. You don't just get in a line and people give you the title United States Marine. How many people plan on going to the Marine Corps boot camp? Right, that's motivating. That's motivating. That's motivating. You guys got an opportunity. And you guys gonna go to boot camp, you're gonna already have a little rank. That means that's gonna set you apart from everybody who's already going to boot camp. You're not gonna go in as private. Right? You're gonna have a little rank, so you're gonna be leaders. And as leaders, you gotta understand the simple thing of what makes the great great. What makes the great great? Now see, I struggled with this for most of my life. I struggled with what makes the great great. Write that question down. What makes the great great? And I want y'all to go home tonight. I want you to think about what makes the great great. But I'm gonna tell you what I came up with. I began to study great people. I began to look at what makes the great great. You see, the very first thing that makes the great great is one, they have to know what you want to do in life. You have to know what you want in life. See, when people used to ask me, what do I want? What are you going to do with your life? I didn't take those questions seriously. I didn't even think about what I was going to do with my life. But I want y'all to start thinking about what you're going to do with your life. What do you want to do with your life? That's the first thing of all, that's the first start of all achievement, knowing what you want to do. If you don't know what you want to do, anything will do. If you put a boat in the middle of the ocean and let it sail, and you want to go to the Bahamas, when the storms come and the rain and the wind, that's going to blow that boat off course. It's never going to make it to the continent of the Bahamas. It's going to end up on some island and crash. And see, that's what happens to us in our lives when we don't know where we want to go, what we want to do. So first, you got to know what you want to do. The next day, I started studying one of my heroes, one of my greatest heroes in this world, the champ, the greatest of all time. Anybody know who the greatest of all time is? In the boxing arena, what's that in the boxing arena? Yes, sir. Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time, right? I began to read about Muhammad Ali. I began to study about Muhammad Ali. Anybody know how he got started boxing? I'm going to tell you how he got started boxing. His dad, on his 12th Christmas, his dad gave him a bike for Christmas, a red shiny bike. And he drove that bike one day and it started raining. He pulled off to the side and went into a building and started eating candy and popcorn. And see, when he came out, his bike was gone. Somebody had stole his bike. And all he wanted to do was get revenge, to fight the person who stole his bike. Anybody ever got so mad because somebody took something from you that you wanted to fight? That's what happened to Muhammad Ali. He wanted to whip the person who stole his bike. So he went with that day and reported it to a police officer. And he told him, I'm going to whip the person who stole my bike. See, just so happened that police officer owned the gym. And he said, if you're gonna whip the guy who stole your bike, the first thing you're going to have to do is learn how to fight. So he brought him into his gym and started training. And see, when Muhammad Ali got into that gym, he found more than the revenge he wanted to get on that person who stole his bike. He found the love of a sport that would take him all around the world, give him all kind of accolades, that would give him a chance to prove to the world that he is the greatest. He wanted to prove to the world he was the greatest. See, in 1960, he went to Rome, Italy, and fought in the Olympics. And he won the gold medal for the light heavyweight championship. And they treated him like a king. The whole time he was in Rome, he was like the king. He was the great. You see, when he came back to his hometown of Louisville, Kentucky, and he went into a lunch counter and sat at that lunch counter, and he ordered 2 hamburgers. He's the champ, and he's in his hometown, and he's ordering 2 hamburgers at a lunch counter in his own hometown. But remember, it's 1960. The lady behind the counter told the champ, the person who had won the gold medal for his country,